So till now what we have seen is that we had created two threads, and we used to pass the same runnable object while creating those two threads, and we started those threads, and we saw that the value of the thread local in both the threads were maintained separately. So now what we will do, we will use Threadpool instead of creating threads ourselves, and we will see what issues that cause and how to actually resolve that. So let's I'm going to comment this part, and I will create a Threadpool. So executor service es equal to new equal to executors dot new single thread executor. So why I am actually creating single thread executor is I want to actually reuse that the same thread for running both the tasks, and I want to show what issues that cause. So let's submit that runnable twice. Okay, so I'm going to submit that runnable twice. Okay, so now if I run this code, let's see what happens. We see that the value is 5 and 10, but earlier when we used to create two threads and the value of the thread local was maintained separately for those threads. In this scenario, what happened actually is same thread was reused for the second runnable submit as well, and the state of the thread local variable was never reset. So whenever we use thread local variables in case of Threadpool, we have to be extra careful, otherwise the behavior may be something different that we had not expected. So to like if I use Threadpool of size 2, let's see what happens. Executor service es equal to new fixed thread pool of size 2. So now if I run this code, we will have the behavior as expected, 5 and 5. Why? Because in this scenario the threads were not reused, so the state of the thread local variable was maintained for each thread separately. Now in the in the earlier scenario when threads were actually being reused, how we can achieve the separation of the variable, thread local variable? So what we will have to actually do, like after execution of one task, we will have to reset the value of the thread local variable. So for that, in the run method, what I will have to do actually, counter dot remove. Okay, if we look at the documentation, it says that removes the current thread's value from the thread local variable. So it is actually reset. So now actually what we should do, we should call this counter dot remove in the finally block. So like what I will do, I will start try block and I will call this in the finally block. because there could be exceptional cases as well. In the case of exception as well, what we want is this remove method is called. So okay, so now if we run this code, we will have the expected behavior. Okay, so whenever we are using thread local variables while using thread pools, we should be extra careful and we should reset the value of the thread local variables, otherwise we will face like these kinds of issues, and the expected behavior will not be achieved.